Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about a really fascinating person, Joakim Lundell, or as many might remember him from the past, Jockiboi. Jockey has truly had a completely crazy journey from being one of Sweden's most controversial celebrities to today being one of the most celebrated musicians, family men and influencers. And honestly, this is a journey I think you would learn a lot from, so stick with us as we go through his life, from his upbringing to Jockiboi and to the person he is today. So let's go. To understand who Jockey is today, we actually need to rewind quite a bit. Jockey grew up in Vadstena, a small locality in Östergötland, and had a rather tough childhood. He has been very open about how he grew up in a broken family where he felt like an outsider, and he didn't really receive the security that the children truly needed. There was a lot of fighting and conflict, and Jockey has really said that it affects him deeply. Already as a young person he began to feel mentally unwell and struggled with feelings of not fitting in. It's worth considering how much our childhood truly affects us individuals later in life. Many of the decisions we make as young people are, in a way, a direct reflection of what we have experienced. For Jockey, this became a part of his identity in the years to come, and it is something we will see more of when we talk about his Jockiboi period. Okay, so now we come to the Jockiboi era. I know that many of you have probably heard about or seen clips from this period. Jockiboi really did everything to get noticed. He became famous through reality TV, and his thing was to be as extreme and provocative as possible. There were basically no limits. Everything was about getting as much attention as possible. He created this Jockiboi character that was loud, rebellious, and yes, a bit chaotic if we're being honest. He did things like getting into public fights and drinking way too much alcohol, and he really lived life to the fullest. But at the same time, while Jockey was living out this character, he himself was not doing well at all. He has later recounted that this period was filled with anxiety and inner chaos. It is easy to believe that someone who is always in the spotlight is self-confident and has everything under control, but for Jockey, it was actually the opposite. He has described it as if Jockiboi was a way to escape from his problems and flee from reality, and a way to hide behind a mask. It was around this time that Jockey's life began to turn around, and a big part of it was due to him meeting Jonna. They met in 2013, and even though it wasn't love at first sight, they quickly grew close to each other. Jonna truly became a pillar of support for Jockey. He has said that it was through her that he began to realize he needed to change his life. Not just for his own sake, but also for her. Together I started building a life that was far from the chaos of Jockiboi. It began with a YouTube channel where I shared my everyday life, and people loved it. Here we got to see another side of Jockey, one that was more vulnerable, more genuine. And it was really there that the journey truly began, from being Jockiboi to becoming Joakim Lundell, the man behind the mask. So let's talk a little bit more about his music career and his journey in the world of music and how it has evolved over time. So let's talk about his music career. After Jockey had started to find stability in his personal life, especially with Jonna by his side, he turned his focus to other creative expressions. And this is where we enter into his music career. I don't know if you have listened to his music, but Jockey actually released several songs that became real hits in Sweden. Many may have been surprised that the old Jockiboi could make serious music. This was really not a way for him to express his feelings and his journey. His first song, All I Need, quickly became popular, and thereafter he continued to release several singles that ranked high on the charts. The songs often dealt with love, pain, and the struggle to overcome dark periods. It feels like the music became almost a kind of therapeutic process for him. A way to process one's own experiences and give them new life through art. And this is the thing, whether you know, in general, you like music or not. One cannot deny how much passion and soul he has put into his projects. It feels genuine, and that's probably why many people can relate to it. Another thing that really stands out in Jockey's development is his openness about his mental health. He has been brutally honest in his books about how he has struggled with anxiety, depression, and sometimes suicidal thoughts. And this is not easy to talk about, especially when you have such a large following as Jockey does. But I believe that this honesty is what has made I believe that this very charm has made so many feel inspired by him. In his autobiography Monster, for example, he delves deeply into his darkest periods and how he struggled to find a way out. He writes about his past addiction, his relationships, and how time and again he found himself in destructive spirals. It is a tough solution, but also very important because it shows that even those who seem to have everything on the outside can struggle on the inside. This is also an important part of why Jockey has become so respected today, not for his old commercial personas. Without having transformed his life and become a voice for those who may be struggling themselves, he often talks about the importance of seeking help and dare to be open about your feelings, something that I believe has helped many of his fans. Actually, shit man. Today, Jockey and I live a completely different life than during the wild Jockiboi days. We now have 2 children, Lunabelle and Lionel, and still share large parts of our lives with our followers on YouTube, but it feels like they have found a better balance between private life and public life. Their channel is no longer just about creating drama or doing things for clicks. Instead, it is about showing his family life, both the good and the bad. It has also opened up about their difficulties in having children, Joachim and fertility treatments, something that has truly touched many. What impresses me about Jockey and Jonna is how they have managed to stay relevant. In a time when trends on social media move very quickly, many may have thought that their 15 minutes of fame would have ended long ago. However, they have managed to develop their content and continue to be one of Sweden's biggest YouTubers. This really shows how much Jockey and Jonna have grown, both as individuals and as a couple. So it is with Joakim Lundell today. I would say that he is at the peak of his career, but in a completely different way than anyone might have anticipated during the Jockiboi era. He is no longer just an influencer, but also an artist, an entrepreneur, and a father. He has built a brand that is no longer dependent on scandals or drama. In that way, he is able to inspire through his experiences. The future for Joakim Lundell looks incredibly bright. He continues to release music, work on creative projects, and develop his brand. And even though we don't know exactly what he has planned, I am sure that he will continue to surprise us, because that is something he is good at. To change, to develop, and to make something positive out of what was once negative. So there we have it. This was Joakim Lundell's journey from a chaotic and destructive lifestyle to one of Sweden's most respected media profiles. This is a story about overcoming one's own demons, about change, and about finding a new path forward. No matter how dark it may get earlier in life, I believe Jockey has shown that it is never too late to change in one's life, and that one can always find a way to something better. Thank you for sticking with us all the way. If you have any thoughts about Joakim Lundell's journey, or if you have gone through similar experiences yourself, feel free to share in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We'll see you in the next video. And remember, anyone can fight their way to something good. Maybe not like Jockey,